Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. How are you all today? So how was the movie screening last week? Huh? Don't understand. How was the movie screening about? Samsara.
There's no difference between image and
Wow, too special. So for some of us, we just came back last night from China, the Silkroad trip. You know, the sun is amazing. Free. The sun is free over there. Northwest China. The first part was desert plains, then subsequently was mostly still dry, but very sunny. Very sunny. So let me see. Let's proceed with our usual. Who is new here for the first time? You? Okay, yes. Your name and how you got to know about the good cultivation? Where's your wife? Hello, wife. What's your name again? Yilong. Yilong. Say hello to Yilong. Welcome. Trim the specs, is it? How many specs? Who else is new here for the first time? The left side first. Yes. Your name?
Chai.
Huh?
Lai Chai.
Lai Chai. And how do you get to know about the good cultivation?
I knew it for 10 months.
Oh. but
I don't come in here.
Didn't come in here. So what were you doing?
Any was here, so I will come here and wait for
Oh. Okay, so you wait for who?
my wife.
Oh, okay, I see. So finally you come and join us. Welcome. Everybody come into Buddhism in through different paths. Through different paths. Always good to get started. Welcome. Who else is here for the first time? Who else is here for the first time? Have you introduced? You have. Who else is here for the first time? Hello. Yes.
I'm Chai.
Huh?
I'm Chai.
Dan Chai.
Yes.
Chai, Dan Chai.
We are friends.
Are you friends? Oh, your friend is quite good, you know, never suffer you, never drag you out. And how
It's the first time that we're here. In fact, I've been here for many years. but not cheap.
I see.
Yeah.
Good, welcome. How about you?
Hi, I'm the volunteer here from Busan. I attended the lunch. So after the lunch, I joined in here to attend this session.
Okay, welcome. What is your name again? It's okay, you can.
Ai Hao.
Welcome. Okay. How was the lunch?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I heard about the lunch. Yeah. Once a year we have, I think it's once a year. Yeah. It used to be a dinner. Yeah. Sometimes it's lunch. Volunteers appreciation. Do you feel appreciated? Say yes. Yeah, on camera. Better be appreciated. Better be appreciated. But oftentimes it's not so much the lunch. Yeah. In fact, some of the volunteers in the past, we have the dinner or lunch, and then there will be some lucky draw prizes. Some volunteers even come forward to tell us that they do not volunteer for the lucky draw prize. Yeah, and some of them even suggest doing away with it. Yeah, because they hope that whatever funds that is can be put to better use to support the Dharma. Yeah. When I heard that, I was very touched. Yeah, really all out, for the community, for Buddhism. Thank you. Who else? Let's see, anybody else? How about looks like a gentleman on the side? Oh no, not gentleman, sorry. I see wrongly. Then the head now go even lower. I don't see the face now. Yes, you keep turning around. Is it Nyari? Okay, yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, I haven't replied you on the recommendation. Is it over already? Over already. So sorry. Yeah. So how did you manage to get into the program? Or something? Or maybe you update me offline. Yeah. Sometimes when you look for me on certain matters, sometimes I may not reply immediately, and then sometimes too many other chats, queries and requests come in, and then yours get. So if I don't reply within 2 days, you should quickly text me again. To bump up your request. Okay, let's see. How about on my right side? Anybody who's new? Yes. Hello.
Hi, I'm Ren. I
Ren.
got to know about this program through Wilson.
Wilson? He's not here.
Yeah, he just stepped off.
Oh, he just said, okay. Welcome.
Yeah.
Here's evidence. She's the evidence collector. Welcome. Let's see, who else is here for the first time? How about you? Have you introduced before? Yeah. You have introduced before.
Yeah, I was sitting at the back, so I knew in the front. My name
Okay.
is Carol.
The first time sit in front can I call? But you've introduced yourself before.
Yes.
Yes, and today I think you wear a brighter. Am I correct? Or do you always wear this?
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes, how many times?
Let's go.
Well, it's a very nice apple green color. Welcome anyway. Yes. Welcome to the front seats. Let's see, who else is here for the first time? No. Okay, everybody on season parking folder. Okay, yes. Welcome to the spiritual group cultivation. We have short puja and then meditation followed by Dhamma sharing. So just now I requested for the Amitābha Sutra because we are currently on this sutra. And as Yong Jie passed me the copy, you will find this line here. 邀请三藏法师鸠摩罗什是. Everybody can see this, but when you recite the sutra, you don't recite this line. This is a line to indicate the translator's name. This is Venerable Kumarajiva, Chuan dashi. And this trip, during the Silkroad trip, there were two masters who there was highlight. The first one is someone whom we are more familiar with, Chuan dashi. In a way, made known through the novel Ji. But this time round in the trip, we discovered that apparently about some 700 years or 900 years before the novel was even written, there were already paintings in one of the temples depicting the same exact story. So apparently this story had been going around on the ground, in one of those word of mouth legend. And it's a concoction, a combination that is based on the actual journals of Chuan dashi, his journey to India to retrieve the teachings, and then plus some elements of Hinduism, some of the characters or some of the devas and beings from Hinduism, such as the monkey god. Very apparently, monkey god is the combination of the monkey god in Hinduism. In Hinduism, there's the human figure with the 8 face. Our Sun Wukong is from there. Wow, some of you also disappointed. Historically, that's the truth. Which makes me wonder sometimes, when they have the Taodama, who is actually logging in, because supposedly the medium, when they tell them, right, then the divine being log into their console and then take over the body, right? So the fact is that this character, Sun Wukong, is a fictional character that is comprised of different elements, including that from Hinduism. So when they tell them who actually log in, don't know. But in any case, we visited many places, and Jimolosi, there's this temple. Where was it? Can you remember? Jimolosi, I think it was in Gansu. Was it in Gansu? Because the last part, Zhenzhou, then before that was Luoyang. So in Luoyang we had Famen Si, we had Famen Si. Then before that Famen Si. On the day we went to Famen Si, we also went to the Wuwei. Wuwei is in Gansu, right? So in Wuwei, a place in China, Gansu. So we visited this place called Jimolosi. One of our ex-students, when I say ex-student, graduated. One of our graduates, maybe I should say graduate. Ex-student sound like, cannot kick out. He graduated from the Buddhist College of Singapore. and he came back for the grand opening. So he wasn't there in China, and Ren texted him about our trip. So he texted back to let us know that his teacher, who is the abbot, will host us. And I was like, 老师动作. In any case, his teacher did host us and share with us the history of the temple. Yeah. It was very touching. Yeah, it was very touching. Because 鸠摩罗师, so the name starts from here. 鸠摩罗师, yeah, 鸠摩罗师. Not read as 神啊，什么的神 ，no, but read as 师，鸠摩罗师. So he's one of the key translators within the Chinese Mahayana tradition. He himself he was born a prince from one of the kingdoms in the outskirts of Chinese Empire. Yeah. He and his mother, when he was I think 7 years old, his mother brought him together. They ordained. Yeah. So quite amazing. His mother and him. His mother brought him together. They left the family life, left the kingdom. In other words, the queen and the crown prince left the kingdom and become nuns, become a nun and a monk, a young novice monk. And apparently he has such talent and gift for the teaching, and he quickly assumed the role of Dharma teacher. And later on, he brought the teachings over to China. We commonly know of Xuan Zhang Dashi. We also went to a place, two places. One place was Dayantai. Is it Dayantai? And the other place, what was the other place where his relics were? Yeah, there was another temple. The name itself is that it is a temple in memory of Xuan Zhang Dashi, who uplifted Buddhism. Yeah. So, Amitābha Sutra, the one that we commonly recite, was translated by 据摩洛大师. His translation tend to be more readable, whereas Xuan Zhang Dashi's translation tend to be more direct. Yeah. Direct meaning that it's closer to the prose and verse of the Indian language. Yeah. Whereas for 据摩洛大师, you notice that when you read it, it is very readable like the Chinese text. Yeah. Except for some of the characters, some of the words and phrases that are transliteration. Yeah. Those transliterations are basically capturing the sound but not the meaning. Yeah. So like his name itself, 鸠摩罗师. You go and search for 鸠人摩罗师, no meaning. Yeah. Because it only captures his name, Kumarajiva. Yeah. As I've explained before, much like when they say 布施总统, yeah, 布施, you go and search for 布 and 施, no meaning. I mean there's meaning, but the meaning is not connected to George Bush. If you were to do a proper translation, it would be 草丛总统. Yeah, notice how everybody will laugh. Yeah. So, yeah, for names of people, places, technical concepts that are unique to this country, yeah, but foreign to the destination country, and then they don't do translation; they will do transliteration. Yeah. Then there's also mantras; they don't do translation. Yeah. So there are certain rules that they observe. So just now when I saw this text, I'm like, we were at not his temple, but we were at the temple that commemorates the time he spent there. After arriving in China, then he spent several years, in that temple doing translation, and also giving teachings, of course. If you have opportunities, it's a different kind of pilgrimage. Yeah? Usually when you think of pilgrimage, you think about Siddhamingsan in China. You think about the four holy sites in India, or the 8 holy sites. Yeah? Or you think about going to Tibet. Yeah? But in China, there's some of these temples not so well known actually. Yeah. But into the teachings itself, then you will find it very meaningful. Yeah, very meaningful. Because without these individuals, we wouldn't have the translations today. Yeah. As much as when we read the translations and recite, if you're like me, many years ago, I'm like, 如是我闻彼是佛在舍国. This one is 简体字 so easier to read. The 繁体字 I learned. I'm surprised how come. And then after that, 书记孤独人与大 quite a mouthful, you know. And by the time you finish the first line, usually the whole community has reached the third line. Yeah. And if you're like me, then I wonder like, wow, why all this hassle? But today I can say that, yeah, when we visited the monastery, the temple, yeah, I was quite moved, yeah, because yeah, this is the very individual who hated the translation, yeah, who brought the teachings over. And in the past, when they tried to bring teachings across the border, many times they encounter difficulties. Not the kind of difficulties in 西游记 of a new 国王 野山公主 and all the same. No, not that kind of difficulties, but real difficulties. Yeah, because in those days, the teachings are seen as treasures. It is like, for most of us, when we use the internet browser, we don't really read the fine print. Yeah? When you first install it, there is the terms and the conditions that you must click agree. If you're like me and you go and click on one of those links, you click, you see this, 10 over 20 pages long of text. And usually inside, you will include the RSA code, yeah, which defines encryption. And it will state very clearly that under US law, you're not allowed to use this or export this through electronic or other mediums to countries such as Iran and so on and so forth. Yeah. Why? Because those are key technology for encryption. And some of this technology can be used when you reverse engineer it. It can be used to develop other things. Yeah. So we go back 1,900 years ago, around the time when Buddhism first came to China. The Dharma, the teachings, were held in the same level of importance. Yeah. So it was not something that you are allowed to simply just transport in and out of the country. And that's why there's all the accounts of how those who brought teachings to China had to resort to. One account states that was it 据摩洛大师, when he tried to bring the teachings in, it sounds very gory, okay, but it's not meant to be gory. It is said that he had to hide the scriptures in his body, literally in his body. He had to cut slits in his body and put it into his arms, just to bring it across the border, to avoid inspection. Yeah. People nowadays do that for drugs. Yeah. People do that to smuggle the latest iPhone to sell at high price. but people in the past, they do that to bring teachings across. During the trip, yesterday I shared with them in the morning. I recall in one of the first few days of the trip, the guide mentioned about how the Silkroad was perilous. That there are a lot of dangers besides the climate, the extreme temperatures. You can die in so many ways. But why would people risk their life? So the guide mentioned about how the whole idea of silk is so amazing. So the Western world, the Roman Empire, and whatever was the Western world in those days, they were most impressed by it. And most notably, one of the emperor of the Roman Empire, he wore a silk garment, and it outshined all the other senators and so on, making him really steady. So it became very sought after. But they didn't figure out how this thing come about. The Chinese, before that, discovered the silkworm, and it's a very, again, gory process. They basically boil the cocoon with the silkworm inside the light. So the process of making silk involves killing the worm, which is why in Buddhism we usually try to avoid wearing fabrics made of silk, even paintings, or not paintings, but silk paintings if you will. Now, then it was said that the Persian traders would buy, because the Persians are familiar with the Middle Asia and Roman Empire, so they helped to bridge, and they would buy over the silk, the raw silk at low price from the Chinese and the Chinese traders and those who live around. And then from there, bring it back to the Roman Empire in exchange for gold. And according to the guide, 1 pound or 1 kg of silk, you get 1 kg of gold. Can you imagine 1 kg of gold? Oh, people would get their life killed. So then, in the process of describing this, then he mentioned about how this is trade, to bring something from a place with it to a place without it. 从有到无, to bring something in a place that has that thing to a place that doesn't have it. And in that way, you can earn a premium. Xuanzang Dashi also did the same thing.据摩洛大师also did the same thing. From India, that has Dharma, to China without Dharma, to bring this teaching across. But they did this not for profit, not for their own profit anymore. For whose profit? For countless of generations of individuals' profit. The term profit is actually sometimes seen in translation within Buddhist Sutra. For the welfare and profit of sentient beings. Here when we talk about profit, it's not about the profit money, but about our welfare, our well-being, for the good in other words. So today we have this text. Many individuals have already translated this to English. So some of you may wonder, why do I still refer to this and not just use the English text? If it was me 15 years ago, I would quite naturally just refer to the translation. But today I would rather take the time to do on the fly translation with you all, to share with you all the original. This is not the original, but this is the original translation. Because the original is in Sanskrit Pali. if I were to use that, then it would be difficult for you all and for me. To be really honest about it. Yeah. So where did we stop? So we stopped, you just throw in 阿僧祇劫. Where is the 阿僧祇劫? So in the past few weeks, we have shared and covered the front part of the sutra. And as I shared before, about maybe 1 or 2 months back, this sutra is like an introduction guide. It's like a prospectus guide. You know, when you go for like the demo lecture, yeah, when you want to go to a university and you see one of those prospectus guide, yeah, they will tell you about how this university has who as the alma mater. It has faculty members who are Nobel Prize winners, who discovered this and invented that. Yeah, and then they will highlight that your peers. Who are your peers? Your peers are the top league, top 2% of the whole cohort, and also researchers, research students, master students from overseas. We have exchange programs, all the works. And then to top it off, they tell you about the facilities they have in the campus and so on. This sutra is basically that. Except it's not a normal university, it is a retreat center. Yeah, it is a retreat center. So it starts off telling you that, welcome to the Sukawati campus. Yeah. This campus is not an ordinary campus, it is a whole world system. Yeah. So just imagine if the whole earth is NUS or NTU. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if, let's say, in a distant future, when you want to send your children to university, you must send them to Mars, for example. Yeah? Or let's say send them to another galaxy for university study. Then you have to choose between different universities which are basically different world systems. Can you imagine that? This sutra is basically saying that. In the western direction, past, I think we calculated, was it 1 billion? Or 10 billion? 1 billion, right? Or trillion? Yeah, a trillion world system away from us. In the western direction, there's this world system called a Pure Land, extreme bliss, a Pure Land of extreme bliss. And we went through that. Yeah. And then it goes into, why is this place called extreme bliss? And then it goes into the description of how this place, amazing place, no suffering, no lower realms. Yeah. As long as you're there, boom, lotus born being with full features, yeah, and so on and so forth. Wow. And then we haven't even gone into who is going to do the teachings yet. We went through how just being there, the birds, we went through that. The birds would chirp, 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 5根5力7菩提分8圣道分. Yeah? Basically, even the birds would give you teachings on the 37 factors of enlightenment. Yeah? You cannot idle over there. Yeah? You skip lecture, you go to the park, then the birds 5根5力7菩提分. Then you find a place without birds. Then the whole day and night, when the wind blows and the tree goes through the trees and the leaf, the sound that is produced is like melody. So you're drawn to it. Wow, like a multi-piece and ensemble. But then when you listen to it, it reminds you of the Triple Gem. Yeah, it reminds you of the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, the teachings again. So we have this joke in our monastery in US with my senior monk, Amitābha Sutra. Yeah. Wonder if you will see this video. So we were having this conversation about how there are those who practice Pure Land Buddhism but do not like to learn teachings and do not like to meditate. Yeah, we were joking that, wow, to them it will not be Pure Land. you'll not be a pure land of extreme bliss. You'll be like hell. Why? Because if you for your whole life you reject teachings, you detest meditation, then somehow, let's say, if you manage to go there, then anywhere you turn to, it's not just. It's many people think that when you go there, then you continue Amitābha, Amitābha, Amitābha. No. You notice that in the description, there's no mention about the birds chanting Amitābha, Amitābha. The birds chant 五根五力七菩提分八圣道分. So it's quite different from our usual notion of what is being popularized. So our joke is that those who somehow get themselves there is in for a surprise if they are not ready for the teachings or meditation. Yeah. So we went through the birds, we went through this, and then we were going into how the Buddha's name come about. The Buddha's name refer to the Wuliang Shou, Wuliang Guan, the infinite light that he would shine upon the land. And I gave my interpretation that it refers to the teachings that he will give. Not so much just visible light, but more about what the light represents. Light in Buddhism represents wisdom. So to me, it makes more sense to understand it as that the teachings of the Buddha, Amitābha Buddha in this case, spans and covers the whole world system there. Whereas on earth, even in the Buddha's time, it is not heard of in all parts of the world simultaneously. And that is historically recorded. So, whereas in this other world, everywhere you go, so you cannot go there and then, hey, don't learn Dharma. Every single place you go is covered by the teachings. It's better than insurance. And better than the telco, Singtel, StarHub. Some places like, if you go to the, behind, the toilet area, sometimes you don't get signal. Go to Amitābha Pureland, full coverage. 24/7 some more. So the other one is the Wuliang Shou, infinite life, or very long lifespan. Very long lifespan. If you were to take it literally as Wuliang Shou, then it means that they'll live forever. But in what way will a person so-called live forever? Not the usual way of eternal life. Because even the Buddha entered Parinibbana. Our own Buddha entered Parinibbana. That's the epitome of spiritual cultivation. In the other sutras, it is stated that even Amitābha Buddha would enter Parinibbana, and then Guan Pusa would take over as a Buddha. So, in what way can we understand that the lifespan is immeasurable? The way according to this school of teaching is that you will live for as long as it takes until you attain Buddhahood. You will not perish from there and then boom, come back, again attend SGC. Haven't attained Buddhahood, then come back and attend SGC. You will be there for as long as it takes until you attain Buddhahood. Then after that, you wait for your posting. It's just like you enter university, you finish your studies, then you can apply for a job. But in this case, unlike the normal graduate, you are not looking for a place of opportunity to earn big bucks for yourself. For those in the Pure Land, for anyone who attain stage 10 Bodhisattva, then it's a matter of, okay, where am I needed? In which world, in which corner of the whole universe is my services needed? Is Dharma needed? In which place will the Dharma benefit people? Which sentient beings in which part of the world can currently benefit from the teachings? To that place, then the Bodhisattva would willingly go, granted if there are conditions for it. They would then manifest and arise there to give teachings. And when the job is done, they will leave that place. They will so-called pass away, and then again, okay, where is the next posting? Where's the next location? They don't hang around just for their own benefit. So, you don't look so happy with this. You're all like, like that. You mean not to just go to Pureland and then enjoy life for the rest of, go there, go by the beach, with a sun hat, sunglasses, lemonade. Sorry that I hate to break the party, but that is why it's important, it's very important to understand the Pure Land teachings. Because otherwise, there are many people who assume that Pure Land is a euphemism for heaven. There are many Buddhists and non-Buddhists alike who think that, what we call heaven, you call Pure Land, no difference. And in fact, that's advocated by some of our venerables in France. But that is not right. That is not right.
So it's a real physical place, is it?
Well, according to the teachings, it is a physical place, a trillion world system away.
But are the beings there mind manifested or with a true and 5 aggregates?
Well, they would have the 5 aggregates as well. They will have the 5 aggregates as well. It's just that over there are no conditions for them to give rise to the usual set of, attachment, defilement, envy. Why? Because in the teachings, there are a few other sutras describing the Pure Land in full. And one of the description is that all beings are lotus born over there. There are some venerables who, in a way, tongue-in-cheek describe that lotus born is like those, like the again, this is contemporary venerables in a very tongue-in-cheek manner, okay, suggesting that maybe they are all cloned there. Device the closest description is lotus born. Maybe, I don't know. But they will all look alike.
Oh, really cool.
But the description is really like that. And this case is not like recent one, 8 hours and whatnot. So the description is that all beings being reborn there will all look alike. Yes.
So I thought that one needs to understand suffering in order to be enlightened.
Very good point.
In the Pure Land, there's no suffering. So I'm struggling on this point.
Yes, very good point. And so one of the texts actually covers this point, and it says that as a result of the absence of this component, for most people, if you go there as an unenlightened being, there are nine different categories. Kind of like when we go to university and you graduate with first class, upper first class, second class, and so on. Over there, when the moment you are reborn there, you are at different categories, depending on what? Not depending on the mood of Amitābha Buddha. He that day good. Okay lah, the whole batch all upper class. And the next day back good. Why? So smart. Too smart. Low class, go. No. According to the amount of cultivation you have done before you are reborn there. So the categorization matches directly to your cultivation. The point is that if you go in at a very low level, then it is described that it can take a very long time, many kalpas. And in fact, there's this part of the teaching that says that if you are reborn in Saha world and manage to cultivate, that is a very big if. If you manage to cultivate in samsara, in the Saha world, it will take a shorter time than if you are in the Pure Land. But in the Pure Land, it's easier in a way, longer but easier. So some of the masters gave the description that if you cultivate here or cultivate there, both, if you are able to cultivate, you will also attain enlightenment. Yeah? The difference is, cultivating in Saha world is like going straight up to the peak, one straight line. For those of you who have done mountain climbing or trekking, you know that going in one straight line is damn xiong. So the description for Pure Land is you go round and round and round very gently. So a very gentle slope. You'll still reach, but take a long time. Yeah, take a long time. But the trouble is that, relatively speaking, yeah, if a person can cultivate in this kind of condition, 三大阿僧祇劫, over there, many 大阿僧祇劫. Yeah, the trouble is most people in our Saha world condition fall down. 2 steps forward, 300 steps back. Yeah. So, what to do? Yeah. You made a very good question actually, yeah, because this is the very description found in the sutra. It says that when you are over there, some of the paramita, it would be a bit tougher to bring to perfection. Yeah, which is why my teacher mentioned about how when you are there, at a certain stage, you can request for like exchange. Like, yeah. So that's, my teacher gave the teaching saying that if you go to that Pure Land versus if you go to Tishita heaven, where the future Buddha is, if you are able to go to Tishita heaven, the requirement is a bit higher. Yeah? But if you manage to go there, at any point in time you are free to go to other worlds, to like go to other universities for exchange program. Yeah. Whereas if you go to Pure Land, this particular Western Pure Land, because the bar is very low, so to put it bluntly, almost any Tom, Dick and Harry can go. But there's still a certain bar. It's not that you just dedicate for someone. Then that person, against Buddhism, don't want to care for other people. That person, then you go and dedicate. Then suddenly the person passed away. Then, how come you Pure Land? It doesn't work that way. The person must have bodhicitta in themselves. Yeah, they must arouse bodhicitta, the wish to attain enlightenment as a Buddha for the sake of all sentient beings. That's, in a way, very high. Yeah. But at the same time, it doesn't require that you must have accomplished that already. Yeah. It just says you must have that heart, the wish, that intention. Yeah. So that's why the lowest of the 9 level is what? Are those who have committed the 5 heinous deeds. Safu, Samu, Saruhan, Sufo Senshi, and even someone who have done this, according to the Buddha's teaching, someone who have done something so harmful, in the next immediate life, congratulations. Most people, you're not sure where you go in the next life. You're not sure where you come from. But those who have committed the 5 heinous deeds, you are very certain. Next life, you confirm go to Avicii now. But then in the Amitābha Sutra, it says that even those who have done this, if they are able to invoke that bodhicitta, they are able to have, maybe through the support of someone else, when at the last moment of their death, last moment, they are able to bring to mind the Buddha's great vows and connect with their own vow, that they wish to attain Buddhahood. If they can even do that, dun dun, then you can be reborn in Pureland also. Then some people say,
in Avicii first before
no,
Pureland.
oh, you can bypass.
Like Angula Mali.
Angulimala. So now the question is, some people will say, then okay, well, we can do anything we want now. So it is just like, would you tell your son or daughter, don't have to study lah. As long as you can remember what the teacher say at the last minute during exam, it's okay. Don't have to study. Bo heng sui lor, bo. Yeah. So even for studies, we wouldn't do that. So why do we want to do it then with our own life, our spiritual life? Yeah. So the clause is there, but it is like, sometimes when you watch a movie, and you're like, why would that person kena that? Sometimes you watch movies and they, with just one last grenade or something, they throw and then go through, or like that Star Wars, Luke Skywalker, yes. The last 2 proton torpedoes, boom, go inside.
Use the force.
Yeah. Do you want to hinge on yourself at the very last moment to have that right mindset? Very slim chance. Very slim chance. So this teaching do not encourage that also. Yeah. It encourages people to, on a daily basis, evoke bodhicitta. Most people think that, I just recite Amitābha Sutra every day in the evening. 如是我闻一是佛在舍卫国基数及故土愿以大比丘僧贤250人俱皆大罗汉众所知是长老舍。Then confirm, But the truth is, when you're reciting this, you're supposed to evoke bodhicitta. You're supposed to aspire, usually when you do the chanting, then at the last part, then there is the Amitābha, then the 48愿. Yeah. So all this, you're supposed to then connect with this kind of mindset. And that's the purpose. Yeah? That's the purpose. And then the sutra itself is to highlight how imperfect our world is. Otherwise, for some of us, you got a good job, you got a happy family, especially after learning some Buddhism, you manage to have good relationship, everything. Not suggesting that, you read this sutra, then you go back home, you look at your family members with fierce eyes. Amitābha said, you are. No, but it's to realize that no matter how good, it is still transient. Yeah? And no matter how much we care for our family members, until we attain enlightenment, our way of caring for them is limited. And sometimes flawed. Sometimes flawed. Sometimes we don't have the wisdom to really care for them. Sometimes we don't have. So when we recite the Amitābha Sutra and the accompanying verses, it's meant to evoke all that. It's a form of reflection, really. But when you take it as a ritual, or 要做完课, or then at night, or 说阿弥陀经, then again every day walk. It's not a bad thing. And then you commit to memory. This is the first stage, committing it to memory. So that, because if you just chant in the evening, only at night, but once you commit to memory, then even during the daytime, what happens? If you have committed to memory when you're taking the train and the train is broken, half an hour jam, your heart will be okay. Good. We recite the Amitābha Sutra. Without the sutra, you have committed to memory. Then inside your mind, you just 佛说阿弥陀经，如是我闻，亦是佛在舍卫国，即数即故土。Wow, then your mind is immediately disconnected from this Saha world. Yeah, your mind connect with the Pure Land. Yeah? And then through this teaching, then you transform your mindset. When you see the MRT, broken down, then you have, indeed, this world is wrought with problems, How can you expect anything? This is a world of imperfections. Yeah? Then you see maybe foreign talent. Yeah, even though we are all Buddhists, sometimes even as Buddhists we may have this kind of mindset. Yeah? But over the trip I've shared a few times about how when I go overseas, in particular to China, and I see how our, what we call Chinese PRC in their own country, and I overhear their conversations, I look at how they live their life, and in particular the city dwellers, very interestingly. I see that they have hopes and dreams just like us. And so when you recite this sutra, committed memory, it should not be something that you only do in the evening. But even when we are taking the train, you should consider Amitābha and all Buddhas. They don't say Chinese PRC, don't want. All sentient beings allowed in Pure Land, but not Chinese PRC. No. No. If you think about it, what I mentioned earlier about the 9 grades, even those who have committed killing of one's parents, they have Safu Samu, Sa-Lohan, killing of an Arahant, 触佛身血, hurting a Buddha, 破和合身, to actually create a schism, to cause a Sangha to break up. Even such a person, Amitābha also said, what? Are you willing to change? If you are ready to change, if you are ready to change totally and attain Buddhahood, you can come. We should aspire to be like Amitābha Buddha. And then, when you think about our friends from other countries, sorry, have you introduced yourself? The lady right in front of me. Yes, you. Have you introduced yourself before?